episode of BT and Sal. We talk about the Knicks' disgusting performance in Game 5. You asked me yesterday, BT, if there were anything that could take place last night that would change my thought process on believing in this team. And I said, yeah, if they lost that game. And I didn't think they were going to lose the game, whether they were going to win by 10 or 12, whatever. I did not think they were going to lose that game. And the way that they did and the way the third quarter and fourth quarter went, I don't know how anybody, it doesn't mean they're not going to win this series, but I don't know how anybody could have confidence in this group as currently constructed after we watched what we watched last night.
Disgraceful performance by the Knicks. Reinforcing what I've thought about them all year. They just don't have it, man. And I'm going to get to Tom Thibodeau in a second, but just contrast what the Cavaliers did in their closeout game. They won by 55. And then look what the Celtics did in their closeout game. They won by 31. The Knicks didn't even think they lost, and they shot 59% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom Thibodeau, you forgot more basketball than my entire family tree combined knows. But that's a fireable offense. If the Knicks lose this series, he's got to get fired. Tom Thibodeau last night chose a timeout. He chose a timeout over the best closer in the game. Not for 20 seconds or 40 where things are moving fast. All right, maybe it's a little frenetic. All right, maybe it slipped his mind. Not for a minute, not for a minute and a half, not for 2 minutes. For 2 minutes and 57 seconds, he was able to ponder. And, oh, yeah, by the way, what is the role of the assistant coaches besides sitting there scribbling whatever the hell they're scribbling or Jalen's dad dapping up Jalen? How about you tell your coach, get these guys in the game. There wasn't one shot. There wasn't two shots. There wasn't three shots. There wasn't four shots. There were 5 shots taken. One by campaign. With the Knicks trying to close out a playoff game, Tom Thibodeau, that was disgusting what he did last night.
I know everybody's going to focus on that. They lost the game before that. That's not the reason why they lost the game.
But it's the most unacceptable aspect of the game for
Brunson
me.
got hurt. He got hurt. His star player got hurt.
But if he got hurt, then don't try to get back in the game.
Do you think Brunson was 100% trying to get back in that game?
I don't know the answer, but he was at the scorer's table begging to get in. Call timeout.
Also, it shouldn't have come down to that. They shouldn't have needed Brunson back in that game like he's going to be the savior yet again with all the other pieces
But they do
have.
Because they're not that good. Without Brunson, they're the Pistons in the regular season.
I'm not saying I agree with that decision. Yeah. That's not the reason why they lost. It was perplexing to me, but they were losing that game anyway. And then Brunson goes down yet again because he's always hurt. How many playoff games does Brunson have to leave and come back into?
It's a little bit much. I love him, but come on.
It happens. And whether he's hurt or not, are you hurt or not? And if you could come back in the game, and I know we tried to stick it out there, for a little bit and was hobbling up, I just don't want to hear it. So you could question Tibs, certainly, and I know a lot of people are going to do that. To me, that's not the focal point. I think there are many issues with this team. Number one, their stars are not as good as the best stars. We've gone over that before. Number two, I don't think that their pieces fit together well. For me, a more egregious play was, and this is the reason why I say I don't think their pieces fit together well. Down 6, Mikal Bridges pulls up a 2, and he hit it, but he had OG Anunoby wide open in the corner for a 3. You're down 6, I think it was 50 seconds to go, and you're pulling up a 2 instead of passing the ball to OG Anunoby. I think OG and Bridges are redundant players, and I think that Bridges is a little too selfish at times. He shouldn't be looking to make that 2 when you're trying to get it. If you're down 6, you got to knock a 3 and minimize it, make it a one-possession game. And you have a guy wide open in the corner. I'm not saying force the issue. So why would he do what he did? And that just shows a lack of either cohesiveness, a selfishness. Something is off. That's one play, but I would rather focus on that one play than on the lack of timeout to get Brunson back in the game, because I think it leads to a bigger issue. The third issue would be, of course, the head coach. Is he the right guy to eventually get them over the hump? Hard to say at this point that definitively is, but this team has serious flaws that were exposed in Game 5.
It's been exposed the whole series. I mean, the Detroit Pistons largely have outplayed them. It's very frustrating, although it's not stunning to me, because, listen, the issues that you bring to the table, I don't know that I quite detail them that way because, we talked about Bridges, of course, during the year, but, I've never felt this team this year. That's well on the record. And again, I hope that I'm wrong. And again, I think they found a way to win the series, but to me, that's not the issue. They will not win the championship because they don't have a championship head coach.
You think that's primary as opposed to a championship team?
I do, because I think if they had a championship level coach, I think the pieces and the way the players are deployed would be different. I don't think Josh Hart's necessarily starting. I think you see maybe more of Mitch and Carl, like basketball reasons that I can obviously get into. And there's a lot of issues on this team, and they're going to have to make a trade. Whether they win the series or don't, they're going to have to make a trade this summer. I do believe there's a redundancy there with the wings. Now, if you trade Mikal Bridges after you just gave up 5 first-round picks, then everybody in the front office should be fired as well. So I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to try to trade OG Anunoby.
But Bridges is he's the wrong piece.
It might be the wrong move there, but they've got to justify giving up what they gave up to get him. But again, Sal, I cannot move on from what Tom Thibodeau did last night or what he didn't do. I'm watching this. So, literally, second for second, 2 minutes and 57 seconds in a 2-point closeout game at home. Pistons 97, Knicks 95. McBride in for Brunson, Payne in for, obviously, Josh Hart. The injuries, okay, you can't do anything about it. The 5 shots that were taken, for them to sit there and watch for minute after minute is just utterly unacceptable. It is negligent. It is pathetic. He was lost. And I say this kind of for effect because I know he's a man of integrity. But, if it came out, and I really am joking with this, even though I'm pissed, if it came out in a month that Tom Thibodeau was on the take from the mob to try to throw the game, I wouldn't be surprised. That's how stupid that was.
Yeah, I think just one thing led to another and just kind of got away from him. Where was the perfect time to do it? Are you going to do it right away and burn that final timeout and get these guys in there?
Yes, the more that they're on the court, the better my chances are to win. 100% I do it right away.
Yeah. Look, I'm not...
How does this not bother you?
It doesn't bother... Because I don't think it's the reason why they lost. The game was... They were already down before Brunson went out. That shouldn't have happened. That should not have happened. They've got selfish players on this team. It can't just be about, we're down in the game or whatever it was, 2-point game. I don't care. Got to get Brunson back in there. Obviously, I know their chances are better with Jalen Brunson in there, but it shouldn't be down to that. And I would have a bigger issue, and you just touched on this, with the way that the team is, with the way that Tibs is using the players. That, to me, is a bigger issue. Or the fact that this team is a stupid team. They're sloppy. Why are they feeding Mitchell Robinson the ball down low? Stop it. Stop trying to do it. 3 times is 3 too many. What are we doing here? That's when you're going to be
selfish? You don't like the hack of Mitch?
Get it down low to Mitchell Robinson, who couldn't handle the basketball if his life depended on it? That's what you think is a good offensive idea? Yeah, let's feed the ball down to him. So is that a coaching thing? Is that a player's thing not being smart enough?
Well, I think it should be a coaching thing to stop it.
Okay, but that's my point. So they do stupid things. Brunson dribbling the ball off his foot far too often for a great player. You can't be doing that. He does it at least once every single game. So those little things drive me nuts. The way that he uses the players and deploys the players in a match, okay.
Don't like it.
Okay, me too. I'm not going to focus on the one singular thing that to me is the low-hanging fruit. Obviously you'd like to have Brunson back in the game, but it was circumstance. He shouldn't have gotten hurt to begin with to go out.
But he did, and you had a chance to address it.
Yeah, but they were still down in the game.
They're down for 2 points, 97-95.
Okay, well, why is Mikal Bridges pulling up a 2-point jump shot instead of hitting a wide-open OG Anunoby in the corner to make it a 3-point game, potentially?
I'm not shooting down what you're bringing up. I think that there's a lot of things to dissect, and we obviously will. We'll get the calls fired up. I know you Knicks fans are ready to go. BT and Sal here at 888-808-1019. But, there are certain basic checkpoints where, and I know that we kind of...
You think they would have won the game if he made... Let's say...
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I think that they would have won if Jalen Brunson plays the final 3 minutes instead of the final 27 seconds.
Yeah.
Yes. Dude, the guy just got the award for the greatest... For the clutch award, whatever the hell they call that award. We know what it means, what it signifies. Without Jalen Brunson, the Knicks are closer to the Brooklyn Nets or the Hornets than they are the Celtics or the Thunder. Jalen Brunson is the man. And Tom Thibodeau decided willingly made the decision. He said a post-game, coach's decision. He was asked about it. Hey, Coach, what was your thought on the saving the timeout and not getting coach's decision.
Yeah, all right, well,
you're telling us right there that you chose the timeout over Brunson. That's fine. What I'm saying right now is if you lose the series, I would fire you. That's what I'm saying.
Jalen Brunson, who is the man, nobody's going to dispute that. He had 16 points last night.
Understood.
He had a bad game for Jalen Brunson. 1 of 4 from downtown, 4 of 16 from the field. We know the numbers. You saw him at the free throw line as well, which is inexcusable.
They shot 59% from the strike.
So why aren't we talking? Like, I'm not minimizing what you and everybody else are talking about.
It doesn't sound like it bothers you that much.
Because all the other stuff, it bothers me that they can't hit free throws a lot more than a singular decision when a player was hurt and clearly hobbled. I don't think Brunson was 100%. I don't think he had a good game to begin with. He wasn't 100% coming back in. To me, that was a last ditch. They were screwed anyway. So you can call that timeout, sure, get them back in the game. And by the way, it wasn't just Brunson. Obviously, it was Hart as well.
Hard too. Yeah, I'm less concerned about Hart at that point. But
you are, but
although he's hitting threes the last couple of games.
Well, and not only that, would you rather have Hart on the floor or McBride or Campaign?
Campaign, who missed a floater, back rim, chucked it up. What are we doing? Campaign's taking shots in the final 2 minutes.
That can't happen. So even if...
But Tom Thibodeau let it happen. That's my point.
But even if Brunson's not on the floor, and even if you have McBride and Campaign out there, they can't be taking shots down the stretch when you have Karl Anthony Towns, Bridges, and OG Anunoby.
I know he hit that big three. Karl Anthony Towns went back to being a mouse last night. He was invisible.
So now we're getting to. I'm not minimizing it. You're right. It doesn't bother me singularly, maybe the way that it does you.
I'm sitting there watching the game, saying, I honestly, I'm like, wait, am I? It was so obvious to me. And my energy was going so, my blood was starting to boil. I'm like, am I missing something? Am I getting worked up for? Like, I've got to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Like, he didn't foul out. You know, right. Yes, he's willingly keeping Jalen Brunson out. Now, and last night, I mean, it's few and far between, even though I love sports and I love these teams and it means the world, you know that. It's one of the reasons our show has the fire that it does. We care about this stuff still. And New York cares about the Knicks. Right. And the Knicks coach last night told us that a timeout, which would be meaningless, was more important than getting the best clutch player in the game. Now, which is, again, fireable. I'm with you. Jalen was having a rough night. How many times have we seen Jalen Brunson, little sluggish, finally got a bucket in the first half late, kind of meanders through, and then bang, 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 bang. Avalanche, 3, driving layup, twisting, fall the way, and 1. He's done it his whole Knicks career.
Right. I get it, and I'm not lying. I would be lying to you if I said it didn't bother me with the Tibs thing. I just think that it's a much bigger picture. There's a lot there, which we'll get into throughout the course of the show today. Unfortunately, we got to start on a bad note with that disgraceful performance. BT and Sal on the Fan, our friends at Town Fair Tire, remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Tony is in Hoboken. What's up, Tony?
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm not a diehard Knicks fan. I used to be back in the 90s. But last night's energy, I was so pumped up for the game to turn it on and watch it. And to watch that performance was next to disgraceful, really, towards the end of that game. I don't even know how Thibodeau even comes back for tomorrow's night's game, but to be honest with you. I was even looking for Pat Riley to put the fist up in the air at some point just to get something going. But, yeah, love the show and love to hear your thoughts further. Thanks, guys.
Well, you heard mine. Tom Thibodeau's on thin ice, man. That's the quick version.
So it did cross my mind last night. Like I said, all those different things. I don't think it's just one thing. If we're singularly focusing on, well, he didn't call a timeout. Why didn't he call a timeout? We're missing the big picture stuff. This is a bigger issue to me than him not calling a timeout. But I do think that he is potentially a part of the bigger picture problem anyway. And a game like last night shows that. I told you in game 1 I had a problem with the way that he emptied the bench in the first quarter.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. That changed the tone.
The usage last night or the sloppiness. Like, somebody should be saying, hey, well, Mitch is on the floor, and we know what he brings to the table.
And Mitch played well last night outside the free throws. He played within a late night. He was more than fine. He played well.
Yeah, but we know what his limitations are. Don't try to give him the ball. Don't give him the quarterback pass, try to, on a fast break, get him down.
I think that was Bridges who threw that. That was a ridiculous. That was an 80-foot pass in the air to him. Don't
feed him the ball down low.
No.
He's got zero offensive skill. Zero.
Nothing.
I don't want him handling the ball. I'm fine with him finishing around the rim off a missed shot. That's his offensive game. Multiple times last night, and that's wasting 3 possessions. They tried to feed Mitchell Robinson down low, which is just idiotic to me. And a part of that's on the coach. If I don't like the rotation or I'm saying there's selfish play, how could Bridges not see Anunoby in the corner? Why would he not think that that's a good idea down 6 where you get a wide open 3-and-D guy?
Yep.
That's his specialty. He's wide open in the corner. You're down 6, under a minute to go. Feed him the basketball. Like, that's
Again, I'm not pushing back on that. And this would be like Pat Riley featuring Herb Williams and bypassing Patrick Ewing.
Right.
The only retort I would have for that.
And by the way, Herb had a better offensive game than Mitchell Robinson. All jokes aside.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like Mitch is just, it's a non-starter. You can't give him the ball.
Herb actually had some good years with the Pacers, like 15, 16 points before he came to the Knicks. Anyway, he was pretty good at Ohio State. Okay, so I'm with you that whether it was selfish or he didn't recognize that OG was open, but at least I can explain away things are moving fast and, you got to get some shot. Okay, you should know that as a player. You've got to be able to slow things down. That's what the great ones do or the really good ones do, and he wasn't able to do that. There's no excuses for Tom Thibodeau as the coach who's not on the court with 6'9" and 6'10" bodies running at him and this frenetic, crazy pace. You're the coach. You're the coach. You get paid to organize. That is your job. And really everything, Sal, that I've said, all the criticisms that I like him as a person, I know he's a good coach. My problem is he's not better than good. And I have said that for a long time, Tom Thibodeau. I don't think he ever will be better than good. I think that this is the ceiling. And while the thing that drove me nuts, obviously, was the final sequence with the timeout, I think a lot of things that transpired during the game that bother you more than me are emblematic of his shortcomings.
Yeah, I also think he was a little unlucky down the stretch. Now, look, you make your own luck sometimes, but he got unlucky in the fact that Hart and Brunson both got hurt, number one. Number two, he didn't give an explanation for it after the game. Don't you think he was just hoping that there was going to be a natural stoppage of play?
Sure.
So he could both keep his timeout just in case in a close game down the stretch and get his guys back in. And just the way that the game went, it kind of got away from him, and by that time it was too late. And that's a mistake.
But what does hope mean? Now, I'm not taking a shot at the Mets. This is the first thing that popped in my head. Yeah, you don't think Carlos Beltran wanted to get a hit in 2006 against Wainwright? Didn't swing.
Yeah.
I mean, we all hope for things here.
I'm not saying he got a little unlucky. It was unlucky that...
No, I can't buy that there, Sal. I think that there's an expiration point. All right, you ride one possession. All right, maybe two. There were 5 shots taken with Brunson on ice.
Edwin is in Plainview. What's up, Edwin?
Yes, how are you? First time caller.
All right, buddy.
I just want to say we got to get rid of Thibodeau. 100%. Why he don't play the bench? Precious Stewart could hit free throws. He's a better shooter than Robinson. Why he don't play? Why?
Well, I mean, there's some deficiencies, and I think that they're pretty obvious.
Edwin, that's
we
it?
need to. Yeah, no. We have to get a better center. We got to get rid of Mitchell Robinson.
But it's not going to happen now, Edwin. And listen, thanks for the call. I'm not trying to talk you down, but I don't think that that's the conversation today. That's going to probably be the conversation in 2 weeks if they even get past the Pistons because the Celtics will bury them.
And I'm not so sure
we'll have
now.
that conversation.
Yeah, I'm not so sure now.
You worried? You think they could lose this?
To me, it doesn't matter anymore. Because last night was the show me game.
That's a good answer. I like that answer.
Right, because what's the difference?
I like that answer.
Let's say they win in 6 or 7.
Yeah, big deal. What'd you do? You're supposed to.
This was why last night to me and some of the guys over at SNY, like you and I talked about it, and then after the show I go to SNY and they're like, oh, because we were talking about it, I'm saying it's a must win. Oh, come on, it's not a must win. It was in my mind to show if this team had that next level that I was waiting to see, that I believe that they might have had in them. I was good with the first 4 games of this series. What they did last night to me, no matter what they do now, outside of beating the Celtics in the second round, beating the Pistons in 6 or 7 to me is not impressive. Losing 2 games.
It's actually unimpressive.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You had to beat this team in 5. That was the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, like even if they did beat him in 5, it was still going to be, hey, every game was a 1-point game.
That's right.
But I wasn't going to nitpick. If they beat him in 5, they beat him in 5. So what's the difference now if they beat him in 6 or 7? To me, it's already lost. And whether they get smoked by the Celtics or not, I at my core now believe definitively, based on things that I've seen, know that they don't have it, and multiple things need to change, whether that's the head coach, whether it is moving on from Bridges. I would not move on from Anunoby, but maybe they have no choice but to do that. Mm-hmm. Whether it is finding better role players, Mitchell Robinson, not good enough. The bench in general also could have Campaign and Miles McBride, who are redundant. Like, there are bigger issues here that need to be addressed. And to me, after last night's performance, I'm definitive that this team, I'm with you, this team does not have it.
Interesting. All right, so I know we got to get a break here. I just want to reiterate one thing. Let's marinate on this here because we've tried to process, well, they were 0-10 against the elite teams. What does it mean? Well, one of the elite teams, again, the Cavaliers closed them out with a 55-point road win, and the Celtics closed them out with a 31-point win. The Knicks lost at home. What else do you need to hear?
BT and Sal on the Fan. More your calls when we come back.
All right, Sal.